Okay, so the handwriting is bad, but so I want to graph this equation, and I know that I have x, right, plus y equals 1,000. Now, you can write that as equation 1 if you like, equals minus x. Is that okay? And the other equation is going to be 0.10, and I have x plus 0.60 y for a total yield of $300. And if I multiply by 100, both sides, I have 10x plus 60y equals, and then I had to add 2 zeros, 30,000. So I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. So I have 60y equals minus 10x. Minus 10x. And then plus, right? Now if I divide both sides by 60, I would divide each one of these by 60, you see? So that goes out, that goes to minus 1/6. So I have y equals minus 1/6. Look at the x is up here. And this goes off like this, right? And that goes to be 500, correct? Oh. Y2? Yeah, that's a little scrudgy too. That's a 1. All right. So in each case, this is easy enough if you set up something like x and y. And we have x equals 0. We know this is 1,000. And when we set y equal to 0, we know that that's 1,000. Right? So what does that look like? Well, we got like this, and then we have, well, it's going to be hard to graph, but basically we're going to have a negative slope, and we're going to have 1,000, let's say, and 1,000, right? So it's going to go something like this. This is the graph of now, how about this guy? Well, we have an x and a y. I set x equal to 0. You agree that that's 500, correct? But the fundamental theorem of algebra says when we have, oops, no, forget it, 0. Okay, so now I have 0. So let me work over here. I have 0 equals minus 1/6x. This is x plus 500. If I multiply both sides by 6, you know, 6 times 0 is just 0, right? Actually, I can multiply. I'm going to multiply both sides by, and this side I'm going to multiply actually by minus 6. You don't have to do minus 6, but it'll save me one step. So this is going to be positive 6 over 6, so that's just x, right, plus. And now I'm going to 6 over here. Do you see that that's equal to 3,000? Because I multiplied it times 500. I used the horn. Yeah, it was minus 6. So that's going to be equal to, right, because I multiplied times minus 6. So I can solve for x now. X is equal to 3,000. Okay. Now, I set this thing at 1,000, do you remember? This is y, and this is x. Okay, so if that's 1,000, and I'm saying that's 1,000, roughly I would say this is 500, right? And this other one is going to be, what's the other one going to be too? When 0, I got just 300, right? 2,000. Oh, 3,000? Yeah. Okay, so it'll be 3 times this, so it's going to go way out there. But it will hit. So that's the graph, and that's the graph of line 2. Right, now the solution to the problem is to find where they intersect. Now let me stop, make sure that everybody's following what I'm doing here. Okay, this is what the total investment he has. And if you solve for y, you get this. Is everybody okay? Over here, I'm just multiplying both sides by 100, so the number of zeros is going to move 2 places on both sides. I didn't do it. I just did it in my head. Is this okay? You all right? Yeah? So now, I'm just solving for the y. So I divided by 60. You see? Each component was divided by 60. I brought this over. Look, I didn't show this, but I subtracted 10x. You see it right here? And now I divided by 60. Well, that's y, and that's minus 1/6. And 60 will go into 30,500 times. So that's equation number 2. So that's easy then. When x is equal to 0, y is 500. And when I set y equal to 0, x is equal to 3,000. On this one, it's even easier. When x equals 0, that's 1,000, right? When y equals 0, you just bring that over. X is equal to 1,000. Okay? Now I graphed it. Basically, you should point out which line is what that you're graphing. Now, what do I do in actually define this point here? Set them equal to each other. So let's set them equal to each other. Let me put here equals in dollars. Okay, so let's finish over here. Okay. We'll be factoring this one anyway. Okay, so now take a look at that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set y1, right? I see it? I'm going to set y1 equal to y2. That's the only place these two lines meet. So, just filling in the gaps, I have this y1 has, you can call him minus x plus 1,000. You agree? But this other side, y2, is this guy. So that's equal to minus 1/6 x plus 500. So, I don't know, I could multiply, I want to clear out that 6, right? Well, one idea is to use a 6, right, to multiply both sides. Yeah. Or I could use a minus 6 if I wanted to. It doesn't matter. So I got a 6 here, and I put a 6 here. This will be the horn from the back, and this is the horn from the front. Okay, so that's going to be minus 6x, do you agree? Plus 6,000. And this, the 6 will cancel out, divide out. That's going to be minus x plus 3,000. Do you agree? So this side has the fewest amount of x's. Most negative. So I'm going to add 6x to both sides, okay? So what I will have is 6,000 equals, now I added 6x, but I spent 1x. Do you see that? So you have 5x plus 3,000. Well, no, I want the x by itself. Yes. Yeah. And then that, I have, let's see, 3,000 equals 5x, yeah? And I divide both sides by 5, do you agree? So my 5, my actual critical value, x, is going to be equal to 600, right? Is that right? So I know that this point here is 600. That's how much you invested in what, x? It's clear that this is going to be y over this way, right? So you can plug it into either one of this, right? Or you can plug it to the other one, doesn't matter. But if I take minus 600 from 1,000, what would y be? Do you see what I did? I plugged 600 here. Minus 600 plus 1,000. These are critical values. That's going to be 400, right? Yeah. So what I got is the y critical of that when you plug in this critical value. And you can see that if I do this, let's see, there, I graphed them. And then you can see where they meet. So y equals minus. You can do that now, or you got that or not? You want me to go over it, or? No. It looks like a mess. But I don't know. I mean, both lines, this line and this line, are both going to need a chart, right? A chart to tell you how to graph it. But to find where you meet, where the two lines meet, you have to set the two lines equal to each other and solve for that particular x. And when you do that, you plug it back to any one, either y1 or y2. This looks easier, so I put it in there. So the chart is just for graphing, setting them equal to that, or looking for that x critical value, we call it. The rest is algebra. I don't know. Did you get this part here? I multiplied both sides by 100. That's why that moved over. And then here I'm just solving for y, right? So I subtracted 10x, you see? So then I divide 60, 60, 60. And that came out with the equation that I'm of interest of. That's the second equation. What do you think? Yeah, too easy? I could have made it harder, but you should be able to do that, I think. I mean, okay. Let's talk about the Mexican peso. And any questions? I'll be posting this video too if you want it. I wonder if there's a way I can print it. I never thought about that advanced technology. Can you print? I don't even know. Let's see. Can you print? There's nothing. Oh, wait. No. Maybe I have to save it. Saved. Where? Huh? Oh, that does. Well, let's see. Oh. Oh. Mon Chéri. That'd be cool, though. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have to do, am I here? Yeah. Oh. Well, if I do that, I'm going to come off of this. Oh, there it is. Okay. Where do I want to save it? The desktop. Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. Now I see I'm an expert. Okay, the reason I did that is because I want to get rid of it and do the next problem. Now, the next time we meet, I'm going to do something similar to this. So I'm going to be pounding it in. I don't know what else to do. Actually, unless they approve, you know, some kind of physical punishment, I don't know what else to do. I say, okay, you remember in the old days you could get spanked when you're in junior high? Or I could. I did. I got paddled. But anyway, and that kind of helped me learn. Like, don't do that again. Okay. So, but not really. I still do it. Now, the pesos is what I was talking about boning, remember? So if I have a million pesos, I think I even did this problem before. Okay? But you have to know that this is dollars, right? So I'm going to put dollars here. Now that symbol dollars itself has to divide out because what I want is in pesos. I don't know if you know, that's what they use in Mexico, pesos. Okay, and I wrote it on the side, but you have to know, this is telling you what to divide by. You have to divide by units of dollars. And $1 is to 20 pesos. It doesn't get much easier than this. You see the actual dollar sign now cancels out, divides out, I mean. And so that tells me how many pesos I got. What? How many is that? You're going to be very wealthy. It's 20 million pesos. That's a lot of pesos. Be hard to count. Sorry? I want, is it?
That's what I thought.
Oh, what the hell? Why?
Well, because if you do it the other way around, you have 1 million pesos. The
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. I have to divide by pesos. But anyway, I showed you the other way too. And we have to know that 20 pesos, right, is to $1. You see that? And pesos, the word itself, because remember, you can think of this as over 1. And it's commutative, so peso divides into pesos, right? Leaving me what I really want all along was, I wanted what? That came out to be what, 5,000? 50,000? So 50,000, 1 million pesos is $50,000. So you can be a millionaire in Mexico with 50 grand. Any questions? This was a bonus. Okay, so next, the last problem. You can see how quickly this can be done. You know that when I cover this, it's just like our line. But now that I brought this as a squared program, right? So now I have, in this case, if I start a table, now I better start it here. Let's suppose I have a table. It's x, comma, y. And for this one here, when x equals 0, right, y automatically equals minus 14. Okay? And this is the fundamental theorem of algebra. It says the highest power of the polynomials, how many x-intercepts they have. So I have 0 and 0. Okay? Okay, so we'll set y equal to 0. And we got x squared minus 5x minus 14. Now this one happens to be nice. They're not always nice. If it's not nice, you would have to complete the square. But it just so happens that 14 has factors of 2 and 7. And it turns out that if you subtract that, you get this middle term. That's called the factoring part of the course. This one now is going to be parentheses, parentheses. Okay? And when you have a minus there, that means you don't care what's in front. It's automatically plus minus. So you have to have an x and an x, so you'll never get back to this x squared. And then, let's say if I put 2 here, let's see, so I want 2 times minus 7. Okay, so let me put 7 and 2. Let's see. So that's going to be x squared. That's going to be backwards. Okay, so if I put a 2 and a 7, if you test it out, that's going to be x squared. And that's going to be a minus 7x. And this is going to be a 2x. And this is going to be a minus 14. So we see that this does in fact get back to where it was. So either this guy is equal to 0, right? Or these are two lines. Well, we find two lines that multiply back up to a polynomial of 2 degrees. So the x-intercepts are going to be 0 equals x plus 2 and 0 equals x so one x-intercept will be 7 and then the other x-intercept will be equal to. Now if this is just too easy, let me know. I can make it more complicated, like completing the square. But if you'd rather have this, it's up to you. Is this challenging enough or do you want harder? Somehow I figured you didn't want harder. I don't know. So let's graph it. And you should label your axis too. This is y and capital X. Now, this is the y-intercept. So we know it has to go through when x is equal. So right down here, we're going to have something like when x equals 0, comma, minus 14. That's that point right there, see? And the other ones are when y equals 0. And this is minus 2. Yeah, so this is minus 2, comma, 0. It doesn't look too good. And the other one's going to be, okay, so that one's going to be 7, comma, 0. So we have a general idea of how this thing must look like. It's a parabola, so it must come down, and it has to go eventually through this. It's pretty steep, but it's not very good. But you understand what I'm getting at? That's the graph. Now, so we have x squared minus 5x minus 14. So if we go here, now I wish I didn't get rid of it. And we go here. Okay, now I go here. So now I have y equals x squared. Then I have plus set 5x. Oh. Minus 5x. And then I have minus 14. 5x. And then, why does it, yeah. Okay. Let's see how it looks. And then, not now. Then, what is zoom out? Oh, you can see I got 7. What? Not the graph? Oh, you want a copy of my work? That's nice. I didn't know anybody even wanted that. Yeah. I keep making videos and shows. Okay. Why doesn't that get big? Anyway. Okay, so let me go back. All right. Well, this is what you want. And I did this. Did I? Did I? Here?